So we have finished this row, and now let's have a look. What do we have here with the pattern? So the next row we will have white, one more white, and then blue. So I can close this one as white and go on working with white. So I'll pull this one to the other side. Make one more white because it's going to be a white stitch. And then we'll see. Then we will have to make blue. So I will close this with blue. And go on working 2 blues, 2 whites. So if you already understand this principle, you can just go on working without video. In my original bag I had 21 row, so you can make 21 row or the amount of the rows that you need for your size, and I will stop at each row and show you how to make a transition if you cannot do it yourself. So you can just follow the video. Because I think it's rather difficult to do this at first time. So we'll meet when I finish this round. I have nearly finished the 6th row. Now we make a transition from the 6th to the 7th row. Let's have a look. What do we have here? Here we will have 2 white, and they will be here and here. So if here I will have the white, so I can go on working with white, insert the hook here, and then let's have a look. Then we will also have a white, so we can finish this with a white color. So here you see it will be white. So we alternate the next color, blue. Here we make a transition to the 7th row and we go on working like this. Same principle. And I'll meet you when we finish this round. So at the end of the 7th round, I make the last stitch here. Let's have a look what color we have next. Here will be the blue, and we will shift it so that one more blue will be here, above this one. So here we go on working with the blue, and here also will be a blue stitch. Here also one blue stitch. Pull the working thread. And let's have a look. Then we will have a white one, so we have to finish this loop as white. And then we move on with a white color. So that is already the 8th row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8th row. In the 8th row, we'll meet again at the end of this row, and I'll show you transition to the 9th row. So we have made the 8th row. I finish it, make last stitches here, and we start the 9th row. All the same, have a look how the pattern is going here. So we shift it, right? we shift the blues. One will be here, the other will be here. So as here is going to be blue, we go on working with the blue. Like this. And also make a blue here. So next it will also be blue, so we go on working with the blue. So the next is going to be white, so we finish this stitch with white. Like this. Now we make the 9th row. Meet you at the end of this row. Have a look at the pattern. You see how wonderful these diagonals go. Now let's have a look at the pattern. Next stitch is going to be like this: white and white. So we can finish this with white color. Here also make a white loop. Then it will be blue, so we have to finish this with blue. And go on working with the blue. 1, 2, 1 and 2. One, two. So we work till the end of this row, and I'll meet you at the end. That is the 10th row, almost ready. Let's have a look here. White stitches in the next row will be shifted here and there. So as we make a new row and there will be a white one, we can finish it with white like this. Insert the hook. Here it will be white. And we go on working with white. And then continue as we did before, the same principle. So we have started 11th row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11th row. At the end of 11th row, I show you how we shift colors. So we finished the 11th row. Let's have a look. Next row, the blues will be here. So it means that we can go on working with the blue here. Join this row And here also we make a blue stitch. And let's have a look. Then we have 2 white stitches. So I will finish this with white and then go on working with white. So we have started 12th row and we move on till the end of this row as we did before. And then I'll show you how we make a transition to the next row. We finished the 12th row. Let's have a look here. What do we have? We have this blue, and it will be shifted here and here. So we can go on working with the blue. Go on working here. Like this. Make a blue stitch, because here we will also make a blue stitch. And here we already changed the color to white. That is the 13th row. Thirteenth row, work the same and meet you at the end of the row. So we finished the 13th row. Let's have a look. Here in the next row the whites will be above, that is these two. So we go on working with white to join this round. And here also make a white loop. And then it will be blue. So we close these two with the blue cord. And now go on working 2 by 2. 2 blue ones, 2 white ones. Till the end of the row, and we will meet at the end of this row. So I've finished the 14th row. Let's have a look how the pattern is going here. So the whites will be shifted, which means it will be here and here, white. So we can go on working with white. Here it will also be white, so I can close it with white. And then we will have blues, so I close this with the blue. I think that you already understand this main principle of jacquard. So the blue, and go on working with the blue. like this. So we're going to work until the end of this row, and as always, meet you at the end of the row. Finish the 15th row. Let's have a look. Here I have one more stitch. Let's have a look. Then we will have to work with white and white here. So I go on working with white. Like this. And here also make a white loop. Then next is going to be white as well. So and then it will be blue, so I close it with the blue. Go on working till the end of this round. So the half of the back, maybe even more, is ready. You can already see the pattern very clear. So here we make the next row and meet you at the end. At the end of 16th row, let's have a look. Next is going to be blue here and here, so we go on working with a blue. Okay. Here also make a blue. And then let's have a look. As the blue is going to be here and here, then it will be white. So I change the color with white. And go on with white. 1, 2, and change the color to the blue. And repeat all the same, meet you at the end of this row. We have started 17th row. Meet you at the end of the 17th row. So, the end of the 17th row. Show you how we're going to join it. So, to finish the 17th row, make one more blue. Then blue will be here, above this one, and above this one. So I go on working with a blue now. Join it. Tighten. Let's have a look. What next? Here it will be blue and here will be blue. So we go on working with blue and go on. We finish with white. And then the same. Repeat 2 by 2. So we have started the 18th row. Finish it to the end and then make a transition. I finished the 18th row. Let's have a look. Here the whites will be shifted, and the white will be here and here, right? So we can go on working with white, close it with white, like this, and then we will have blues. Start the 19th row, work it till the end, and we'll meet at the transition to the next row. So now we have namely 3 rows, maybe a little more if you want to make the bag bigger. So I finished the 19th row, last stitch here, yeah, now it's better. So let's have a look how it goes here. Here will be the white, it will be shifted here and here, so that we go on working with white, here as well, like this and like this, and then it will be white also. So this I can finish with white, and this also with white. That's it, that's right. So make the 20th row and meet you at the end of this row. So we have only 2 rows left. At the end of the row, join together, so at the end of the 20th row we make a transition to the last 21st row. Here we will have to shift the blues, so I go on working with the blue color here and here. So we go on working with the blue, _21st row. In the first bag or Sofi bag that I made, it was the last row. Now we'll make it and I measure it and decide whether I want to make 1 more row or not. Maybe I'll leave 21 or add 1 more. So then we have to make white. So I close it with white and I make 2 white chains, 2 white stitches, that is. So at the end of 21st row, I decided to measure the bag, and the size is okay as to me. If you want to make it bigger, you can add 1 more row, but I will finish it. So I have made the right stitch, and last stitch will be like this. Full slip stitch as always. Make a long loop, cut it like this, and you can pull cut the second one. By the way, yeah, here we have 2 working threads, so we cut both of them. Leave a little free and we will hide it later. Now we'll use the blue color, and we need to imitate such a blue false slip stitch. So under this white we insert the hook, pull the working thread and return it into the stitch where it started. For this we insert the hook from the wrong side to the right side, like this. These free ends we will hide here on the wrong side. There will be a lining, I'll show you later. It will cover all the free ends. So now I want to show you how to make wet heat for the base of the bag. I have put a towel inside, put it onto another towel, and I insert the towel inside so that it keeps its shape, a nice shape that it will have. Then you need some cloth, cotton cloth, very thin cotton cloth, for example. I have such handkerchief for this purpose. And I take my iron in steam cotton regime. I use it a lot of steam. On one side and also on the other side. You can also take the bottom and press it again. Put it like this, cover it with a cloth, and press it with iron once again. So this will allow you to get the right shape. If you see that you have to stretch some areas which were not very straight and nice, maybe you don't like something, so while the bag is wet, you can stretch it, you can pull it very gently, of course, but you can give it the shape that you want. And the bottom, for example, you want it to be an oval, a better oval. So you press hard the towel and leave it to dry. So it will keep its shape when it dries. So give it some time to dry, and then we'll go to sewing on the flap. So now we can sew on the flap. I'm going to use the leather one. I have already inserted the markers, so I'll tell you how I insert the markers and how I sew on the flap. So the edges of the flap where we see these openings, first I put this flap onto the center. First find the center of a bag, place it, center it so that it is symmetrical, and then you will see where you want to attach the flap. You can make it deeper or you can make it higher like this. It's up to you. I'm going to adjust it at the edge of third row, at the level of third row, approximately here. And we'll need a smaller crochet hook so that you can insert it into these smaller openings on the flap. I think that perhaps I'll take 3.5, it will be better. And so you hold it in place like this. You put the marker at the edge. First you need to find a place for the first opening. Put it here. As here let me see, flap will be like this. So I hold it in place and I pierce with the crocheting hook here and through the bag. Here I will pull the working thread. I'm going to use blue and pull it through the opening on the flap. So now you move like this, making one step along this line in each opening. It depends on the openings on your flap. So you have to spread this flap nicely so that it will be symmetrical according to the center of the bag. So insert it here, for example. Have a look where you can insert it and work on the wrong side with this. Pull the working thread and pull it through the loop on the hook. You can tighten this. So we go on working like this, step by step. Like this. Insert in the next opening here and find a place where you can pierce it through the bag. Pull the working thread and through the loop on the hook. From time to time, make sure that it is okay here, that the flap is still next to the marker. If it starts shifting, then you have to correct the distances between the openings. Here you may use a smaller crocheting hook and it will be easier to work. So you go on working till the end of this row. And by the way, I have chosen the back side where the joining of the rows were. So you can choose the one that you prefer. So like this, you see, I do not work tight. I do not pull it too tight. I try to make the stitches all the same size. And the distances here also make almost the same. But they can be different if you need to shift the flap. So before you cut this thread, make sure whether it is okay. Close the flap, have a look from the right side. Let's have a look if it will be attached like this and it will be closed this way, and have a look whether it is symmetrical. Okay, you are satisfied. I think that it's okay. The distance here and here is the same, so it is centered and I can cut the working thread. If you need to correct something, then correct it. I'm not going to make it too flat, so I will not pull it low. I'll make it like this. So if everything is okay, you can now cut the working thread and fix it on the wrong side. So now it's a bit difficult, but you have to do this. You have to pierce it with a crocheting hook into the same opening here and into the same opening on the flap. You have to pull this working thread. Yeah, sometimes it's difficult, but it is possible. So that's it. Now it is ready. So then you have to hide all these free ends, sew them, cut them, and I'll show you how insert the bag lock. So now we insert the bag lock. I have such upper part which is already inserted. I'll just tell you how we insert it. There's nothing difficult in it. You just insert this metal part onto the flap and then screw in these nails that you have in the kit together with this bag lock. So the lower part. Lower part is also not difficult, you just have to find the right place for it. First of all, you have to close the bag lock and have a look. Where do you want it to be? First of all, it should be in the center of the bag, in the center of the front part, of course. And then you pierce it through like this. Then you open the bag, open the lock, I mean, and have a look where you can hold it with your fingers there. So it will be here. Pierce it through the knitted base like this. You see this small teeth that you now have to press. You can check again, check that it is straight, that it is nice. Make sure that you're satisfied how it looks. So open it, and then if everything is okay, you can now fix it. To fix this, you take pliers. First you put such a metal thing, maybe it may be in the kit together with the bag lock. So you put it here, and then you have to press this little teeth so that it stays in place. It's a bit hard to show it on camera. I hope that you can see now that I put this metal plate, and it's hard to show this really, so I take each tooth and press it like this, you see, so that it fixes the metal plate. Fix it here. It's difficult to show this. You can help yourself with the screwdriver if it's difficult for you with the pliers. So I have fixed the bag lock, and it already looks like a finished bag, but we have several more finishing touches. So now I'll show you how we make the measurement to sew in the lining. You will need measuring tape, like this. So you measure, start here, just remember where you start. For example, I'll start here next to the flap here, and we measure it all around. Measure the circumference, press it hard to the bag. You do not stretch it too much, because when you will be sewing in the lining, it's very important to have the right size for the lining. So for the lining, I will need 2 pieces of fabric. They will be the same, the width and height. So we have just measured the bag, and it has 54 centimeters. So 54 we have to divide by 2. That will be 27, that is, centimeters. So we add 3 centimeters for the seam allowance. That is 1.5 on each side for the seams. So it will be 30. So the width of the piece of fabric will be 30 centimeters. Then the height will be here. Width will be the same, yeah. The height. Now let's measure the height. If you have cloth enough, you can make it 30 centimeters, and the height you measure like this. You go along the side, then the bottom, and then the other side together. That is, if you have one solid piece of fabric, 34 centimeters. So if you have one solid, then you'll just take 34 centimeters plus 3 centimeters for the seam allowance. I will make it out of 2 pieces. So 34 I'll divide in 2, that will be 17 centimeters plus 3 centimeters for the seam allowance, that will be 20. 20 will be the height of each piece. I will make a seam on the bottom. So I have to cut 2 pieces 20 to 30 centimeters. So here I have cut 2 rectangles, 30 to 20 centimeters for the line. You see I have such a funny print with this tropic bird. And now I'll show you how we make the seams and how we sew it into the bag. So first we need some sewing needles. We need to make a seam on the top, as on the top it's going to be folded. So I fold 1.5 centimeter that you left, pin it in place with a sewing needle, like this, and they make a seam along this line. Do the same on the other side. This just will make it easier for you to sew and make a nice seam. So here I have made seams. I will make the seams. If you have a tag, you can sew it on one of the sides of the bag, which will be back side. So I have already made upper seams. I have attached the tag, and now we put it right side to right side and make seams on the sides here. I also pin it in place with some sewing pins just to make it easier to sew here. So we'll make 3 seams here, here, and on the bottom. First sides, then the bottom. If you have one solid piece of fabric, then you don't have to make a seam on the bottom. So make a seam here, here, and on the bottom if you have 2 pieces. Then I show you how to make the corners for the lining and how to sew in the lining into the bag. The corners will make the shape of the bottom. So now when you have made the seams, you can open it, it's ready, but we still have to make the bottom. So for the bottom, we'll make such triangular corners. Open the first one so that the seam is in the middle. You have to make the rectangle, it will be the same on both sides, so the distance will be, if you put a ruler horizontally, the distance here will be the same, and here you will make the width of the seam that will be the same as the width of your bottom. So if I have, for example, 6 centimeters, so I will make it, pin it in place. Likewise here, also make a triangle and measure the width, and 6 centimeters here. You see 3 centimeters on each side. I will mark it and then make a seam. So that's ready, you make these 2 seams and you are ready to sew the lining into the bag. So I have made these seams, it is absolutely ready. You see how interesting now it looks. We have a formed bottom, a rectangular bottom here. So now we'll just insert it into the bag and sew it inside. I'll show you my method of sewing lining inside the bag. I have a cool method because it's absolutely seamless. So last stage here is sewing in the lining into the bag. Now I'll show you my favorite method. So spread it nicely like this into the bag, find the level where you want to insert it like this. Yeah, so now if you have a tag, the tag should be on the back side, of course. Now I usually start sewing in the middle here where the tag is, because then it will be straight in the center where you want it to be, and all the rest you can already spread as you like. So first fix the thread on the bag. I'm going to use thread in a matching color. Here it will be white because my lining is white, kind of white, colorful but mostly white. So, and here I use a long thread so that I don't have to change it. I find the center. Now I insert the needle straight into the upper part. Now I'll make a zoom so that you can see it. So insert the needle straight into the top part of this edge, pierce it with a needle horizontally, and then go up a bit further, 5 to 7 millimeters. Tighten the thread. Then you pierce the bag here, pierce it through and fix it on the bag. Here where you make a seam, you insert it backwards but pierce it through slightly into the diagonal so that on the wrong side it comes a bit further, 5 to 7 millimeters. Now again you pierce it into the fabric, into the very top part of the fabric, 5 to 7 millimeters, come up and then again pierce through the bag. And then fix it on the bag. Come back, pierce it through the diagonal so that it comes here 5 millimeters further, Again, 5 millimeters here and return it into the bag. And so like this you move along the perimeter of the lining, all the lining here, till you reach the place where you have started. I'll show you how to finish. You just hide the free ends through the bag. And that's it, your lining is ready. So take your time, be patient, and I wish you good luck. So I have sewn in the lining and now the bag is absolutely ready. I have finished it. Here where I have started, I have hidden the thread. I just made several stitches through the bag and cut it. It will do, it will stay in place. It's absolutely okay. So bag is ready. I have inserted such clasps. You see the lining looks such funny. So now I'll show you how it looks as a ready bag. I have attached this lobster clasps and I have attached such a chain, and I made a little handle with caterpillar pattern. If you don't know the caterpillar pattern, I have a free masterclass in Reels on Instagram where you can see how to make this caterpillar pattern. So have a look and you may also add it to your bag. So that's it, our bag is ready now. I think it looks really cool, spring, summer style, so I wish you good luck, thank you for watching, and see you in our next lessons. Bye!